New Zealand's victory in the first test against South Africa at Mount Maunganui has thrown the entire WTC wide open. Remember, New Zealand could very well win the second test against South Africa at Seddon Park, Hamilton. And with that, if they do it, they would have won a series against South Africa for the right from the 1920s until the 70s, they barely managed to win. In the modern era, they couldn't win against them. Now, after their 281 run win, they now stand a chance of not just ending near 100-year jinx versus South Africa, but they can also throw every other team's compositions awry. Now remember, this WTC cycle is already very, very unique compared to 2019-21 or 21-23, because look at the points table now. New Zealand are on top, having won 2 out of the 3 games that they have played in. Remember, they drew 1-1 against Bangladesh. So their one major overseas cycle, one major tour is done. Now they'll be hoping to win the 2 tests against South Africa and ensure that they cement their position at the top. Australia are second, but their next series is a potential table churner. India are third. They had slipped to 5th, but their victory in Vizag ensured they came to 2nd, but now they have moved to 3rd. Bangladesh are 4th, Pakistan are 5th, South Africa are 6th. 7th is the West Indies, 8th is England, 9th is Sri Lanka. But why New Zealand's win makes every other team's progress to the World Test Championship final very complicated? And why is this cycle very, very unique? Because now, all your 4 contenders, let's just say it is at this point of the points table, New Zealand, Australia, India, South Africa, maybe to a certain extent Bangladesh. With this win now, every test win becomes vital, because a draw or a loss could see a big drop. You saw when India were number 2, they dropped to number 5 after 1 loss. A draw or a loss really can hurt a side in this edition of the WTC cycle. And why this will happen? Teams with a mixed home record. For the first time ever in this WTC cycle, you are potentially going to see most of your home tests being lost. I mean, I'll give you an example. What was the common factor between New Zealand and Australia in their WTC cycle wins? What was the common thing? They had not lost a single home test in that entire cycle. 2019 to 2021, New Zealand won against, Pakistan. They then won against West Indies. They then held on for a lot of gritty wins. Australia, on the other hand, didn't lose a single series at home. Be it against England, be it against South Africa, be it against New Zealand, be it against the West Indies. Every series that they played in, they won. But this time around, all your contenders have lost a home test. England have lost 2 tests at home. South Africa lost a home test at home to India. India have lost to England in Hyderabad. Australia lost to the West Indies. And potentially, looking at the past Australia versus New Zealand records, New Zealand could very well lose at home as well. So, all your contenders this time have lost home tests. So there is no home dominance this time around. Ind versus England, New Zealand versus Australia. These 2 series now in the next 2 months are vital. Whoever will come out on top in that, you could potentially see them play in the World Test Championship final at Lord's in June 2025. Now remember, not a lot of teams, if you look at their World Test Championship progress, have lost at home. That's why this 2025 cycle is a lottery in more ways than one. Because which series will be crucial? India versus England, the remainder of the 3 tests. If England can get 1 more win, then it is a big, big loss for India in the WTC table. New Zealand versus Australia. Whoever wins that, if it's Australia who are winning, they will surge to the top. New Zealand could slip right down to number 5. And let us be very clear about it. New Zealand, Australia, England, India are vital. But there is one joker in the pack who can virtually upset the entire deck, and that is South Africa. They may very well lose 2-0. It can happen. First time they may lose a series to New Zealand because of the weak team that they have sent. But most of their overseas and home cycles are against the bottom ranked teams. West Indies is away. Bangladesh is away. 2 home series that they're going to play is against Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka are currently at the bottom. Pakistan then could be a slightly tricky proponent for South Africa. New Zealand and India have very tough games because New Zealand after these 2 tests will play Australia. They haven't played in the cycle at all, and remember, they have not played for 8 years. But their next home assignment is 3 tests against England, and that could potentially deflate New Zealand in that sense. India, on the other hand, they have 3 vital tests coming up here, but they have 5 tests against Australia, in Australia. India may have won 2 out of the last 2 series there, but this current Australian team, they'll be determined to ensure that they don't slip up for the 3rd straight time at home. So Australia's 5 tests against India could potentially be your World Test Championship final preview yet again. But New Zealand and South Africa this time can throw a spanner in their works because that loss that India had at Centurion could haunt them. Every time you had to win, and that draw that they had in Trinidad, that could also hurt them. What has not happened in 2021 and 2023, it's repeating again, and you'll have to go through the very last, you may say the 5th test against Australia and Sydney for India to ensure that they win. But if they don't, New Zealand are traveling to India and they're going to Sri Lanka. They may very well win against Sri Lanka. But what about India? That could also be a preview. So, these are your fixtures for the teams, the main contenders that are there. India to play New Zealand, Bangladesh at home. In England, they are already playing these series, so this will be the end of their home cycle. They have already played 2 overseas, West Indies and South Africa. They'll play in Australia. That's your last overseas. New Zealand will play India, Sri Lanka and England. That is going to be a big problem because they'll also play Australia. Australia at home, India away, Sri Lanka away, England at home. Australia to play SL and India in addition to New Zealand. But look at South Africa. West Indies, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. These 4 teams they'll be playing with their full strength side. So, New Zealand seem to have gotten away with it this time because they don't have the core team. But apart from that, this WTC cycle is already proving to be a lottery because every contender team has lost at home. That is how vital this is. 1921, 21-23 dynamics all are going out of the window because for the first time, a home team has lost tests. Be it Australia, be it England, be it India, be it South Africa, New Zealand. If they lose to Australia, all their contenders will have lost at home. So, it is a vital situation that is there. New Zealand might make things complicated for the others, but there is the other team who can make it rather interesting is South Africa. We hope that the Seddon Park test goes New Zealand's way or South Africa's way because you would want an outright winner. If South Africa win, then it increases India's trouble then because then they will also go up to number 3. India might slip down. So, they will have to win every single test. New Zealand, if they have to make their path easier for the other teams, win their remaining 3 tests against South Africa and Australia. But they also face tricky assignments against Sri Lanka and India at home. That is their home, and England in their home turf. So, WTC 2025 cycle is very complicated and it will be very interesting. It's a thriller-minute ride. Thank you so much folks for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.